Welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Welcome to the 26th of July. Next time we're here, we're going to be in August. Can you believe that? Where has summer gone? Hey, we've got a fantastic lineup today. Sarah Schwering from Gonzaga University is going to be talking with us today. She has a husband who's more famous than she and I together, and we're gonna be talking about him and all that's going on at Gonzaga. It's not been a bad year since I've seen you. Then Eric Agnew, who is an independent candidate for the 5th Congressional race. That's a mouthful, but we're going to find out what it's like to be an independent running for a race that's next year. John Guarisco is going to be here talking about his wanting to be a county commissioner, and that's coming up. This week with Pia Hallenberg, Gunnar Rorholm, I'm not saying it right, am I? Rorholm. He's over there giving me advice and looking at me like, that's not that difficult, Kent. Gunnar is here, and he's going to talk about his new show coming up, but more important, he's going to talk about, he is our international reporter, just came back from Europe. And then Colin's calling the weather, but he's calling it from Walla Walla, and you're going to see in one of the first pictures of this, he sent us the weather report this morning. Next on Spokane Talks Live.
Spokane Talks Online weather forecaster Colin Pittman. Well, we're going to see a high today of 97 degrees in downtown Spokane and pretty consistent temperatures throughout the rest of the week and on into our weekend, hovering in the mid-90s. Beautiful sunny skies all week long. For more weather details, visit my Facebook page at STO Colin Pittman.
For the Inland Northwest's most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with Spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with Spokesman.com.
I'm Lexi Dyson. I am an archaeological technician for the Tahoe National Forest in California. Archaeology is perfect for me. It kind of combines all of my loves: history, my love of culture, my love of arts and science. As a girl, you don't really get told that science is for you. Like when you look on TV, you always see men in lab coats. I was a freshman at North Central. Randy James was one of my biggest cheerleaders. Randy was one of the first people who told me that you are good at this, you can do this. His favorite phrase that he would say to us that really stuck with me is, Yato, you are the ones. We're the ones who are going to make the difference. We're the ones who are going to make the change. You really start thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, we are. I am the one that's going to do this. The work we're doing in Tahoe definitely is going to be here for good. Our purpose here is to preserve things and to make them last, to be here for good, for those future generations to enjoy. I love the variety of it and being able to see things that nobody else really gets to see, and having that touch of history and connection to people in the past. I am helping people by preserving their own heritage, their own resources. One of the things I love about STCU is using the STCU mobile app no matter where I go. It could be here in Tahoe National Forest, I could be back home, or it could be clear away across the country. I've been so impressed by their willingness to help and just be there where I need them to be, basically. It gives me a sense of home, even though I could be 3,000 miles away, 6,000 miles away, which I have done with STCU, and I've never looked back. I'm Lexi Dyson, and STCU is here for good.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. And Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing great.
You were giving me a bad time, which you should do because I did not pronounce your last name correctly.
It's okay.
But I also said to you, you need to come more often. I think it's
True.
been about 13, 14 months,
It
hasn't
has.
it? Yeah.
It has.
And we were upstairs
We were.
doing that.
This
yeah.
is a little different.
It is a little different. It is a little different.
Yeah.
Well, since I've last seen you in person, because I see you on Facebook and everything else, you and your family have been a little bit famous.
We've had, an
Yeah,
interesting year.
let's first talk about the boys, because you're always Facebooking out the boys who I'd asked you to bring, but
I
apparently
know.
they're doing something else
They had
today.
another commitment.
Yeah, good for them. But they're just characters, aren't they?
They
I mean, I
are.
just get a chuckle. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite things is to watch families on Facebook and to see, and Eric is one where
Yeah.
you see him doing things with his kids and so forth. And that just pleases me because there's so much negativity out there.
Definitely.
And we all get sometimes called into that. But to see healthy families and fun families and the things that life is about. So tell me about the family. You have two boys, right?
We have two boys, 6 and 4.
No girls
No girls.
yet?
No girls.
No. Oh, okay.
Period.
Okay.
No,
you
no.
heard it first here.
I know. No, it's interesting because I grew up with a sister, and
Okay.
we played sports all our lives, but we were very girly. You
Yeah.
know, we were very not very big into the tomboy scene.
Yeah.
So having two boys has been kind of hilarious and has definitely introduced me.
Have you
to,
learned a lot of things?
Well, and it's funny. I used to stay home with them, which I loved for years,
Yeah.
and Tim would come home from work, and we would be playing cars, and John, our oldest son at the time, would pick them up and say, "How are you? Want to come to my party? Okay." And Tim looked at me like, "What are you teaching them? Like, you just ran them into each other." I'm like, "I don't know how to play with these things." So I feel like it's balanced them a little bit. But no, they're so fun. They're 6 and 4 now.
Wow.
And to your point, social media is interesting because prior to having some family move here recently, my parents, our family's everywhere.
Yes.
And it was twofold. A reason why I really wanted to share more stories is, one, just pride, right? And I'm
of
so
course.
proud of them, and they're
Of
so
course.
cute. But it's also being able to remember these conversations.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's like a new concept. It's that kids say the darndest things kind of idea. But they're, I mean, what they say, the ideas they come up with, I think are hysterical. And so I started sharing those so that our family could be there.
Be in on it.
Be in on it.
Yeah.
And it's turned into this very popular thing among coworkers and friends and family. And, just people in the community who just get a chuckle out of it, to your point. And sometimes it's just a nice breath of fresh air from some of the news that, can be not so positive.
Yeah, because you can find the bad news. That comes at your
Unfortunately.
face constantly and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned some fella named Tim.
I know.
And he became rather famous this year.
He did.
How did first, before we talk about it, what did it do to you to see him so covered in terms of news stories and TV and radio and everything else?
Well, he is the most humble person.
Yeah,
so
he
the
appears to be that way.
So the attention was alarming
A little
for
overwhelming, I
him
bet.
completely, and not anything that he would be comfortable with.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because what he did is him. You know, and in some of the media coverage, it talked about that he wouldn't have even paused at all to help anyone, let alone someone in that kind of traumatic scenario.
Let's tell our audience who Tim is.
You bet. So
in the story.
Definitely. So in January, he had just recently become an officer on patrol.
Okay.
Just over the last year, and it's been a great transition for him. It's exactly what he wants to do.
Okay.
And in January, there was a situation with an incredible person who's become a dear friend to our family now, Kim.
Yeah.
And she had been driving home after getting ice cream. And as we all know in our community, this winter was terrible.
A real winter,
and so
yes.
there was so much snow and ice, and she hit a pothole, as we all do. And
we're still doing it.
I know. Yeah, another talk for another day. But she hit a pothole, and her car electrical system shut off entirely.
Okay.
And she didn't panic initially, but her windows were unable to roll down, and she wasn't able manually to get out of the car either. And then all of a sudden, the front end burst into flames.
Okay.
So you have that moment.
You're okay until that.
Yeah. And so she was able to climb into the back seat. She called 911.
Okay.
And then just sat there, and smoke is engulfing the car, and that's it. So
knowing it could be the end.
It could be the end, and she said that herself. So Tim was about, just around the corner, and thought when he turned the corner he would be one of the last to arrive.
Yeah.
And when he turned, he saw this car in flames and no one else.
Oh, wow.
So again, that kind of adrenaline in your
Yes.
job kicks into gear. And he went up thinking that he could break the window.
Yeah.
And with his words, he was very disappointed when on the first hit, it didn't shatter.
We won't repeat maybe some words he said. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when he got home at 3 a.m, I said, "Did you swear?" Because I know he was wearing his body cam, and he said, "I think so." And I was like, you know what? Here's a pass. I think anyone would in this situation.
Absolutely.
But, long story short, he was able to get through the window after some significant time, pull her out, and run her away. Yeah. And again, just what he would do. The coverage, though, I think it was just a combination of things. A potential victim who could have been anybody, and a police story that is positive, and our community is unbelievable with our PD, and you want to hear more of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and especially when we've had a year or so of some negative stories, those seem to rise to the top and all of that. Yeah. And I think even my comment was, I would have expected nothing less from our policemen.
Absolutely.
Policemen
and
anyone
would have done it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Fire, AMR, they'd
Yeah.
all do the same thing. And for Tim, it was, again, very unexpected. When we got the call about the Ellen show, I'm a super fan.
Yes.
And I mean, what do you do? You know, so that
you take the time off and go,
you
girl.
sure do. And I really appreciate my GU colleagues for allowing me to, once in a lifetime, right? Very
Absolutely,
fun.
absolutely. Yeah, next time might be a little harder to explain. You know, are you doing this on an annual basis?
Exactly.
Hey, we're going to run out of time, but I want to get to Gonzaga University. Let me guess. This has not been a bad year.
No, it has not. Yeah, it's definitely been a year, many years in the making.
Yes.
We're actually coming up this fall on our 130th anniversary.
Are you kidding me?
No,
wow.
of the institution. And, you know, obviously the March,
See, I remember when you started.
Our March-April timeline is, you know, very memorable this year. It's one of those moments that you can't even imagine. No. And one thing that I'll say is I was here on the ground in Spokane, and the community outpouring, the flags flying, the attention from our community, just all the celebrations around town, it was incredible to see.
What was the reaction at GU from that?
Oh my gosh, it was,
because I know you had it on campus, obviously. I mean, that's a given, and from alumni and all of that.
Sure.
But to see Spokane step up.
Oh my gosh, and all, you know, one of the things that we loved capturing was all the nighttime, you know, all the gobos and all that. I mean, it's just, it was so heartfelt because this is where we are and this is our community, and to see it, this kind of campus to the community and community to the campus idea was incredible. And so we were so grateful for that outpouring. And obviously it was a moment to treasure, one that we hope we repeat.
Yes.
And obviously,
well, even if you don't for a couple years and so forth, the fact is it will live for a long time.
Definitely.
There was a victory. Number 2 maybe in the country, but number 1 in Spokane. And that will live for an awful long time.
Definitely.
I'm going to take a wild guess. Recruiting hasn't hurt.
You know, it's interesting because the caliber of the students coming in, we very much are intentional about keeping our undergraduate and particular levels at kind of a similar number, regardless of what happens, because the faculty-staff ratio, the class sizes are a huge reason of why students choose to come here.
Absolutely.
But the caliber, the GPA, the student leadership, these kids are amazing, and every August we welcome a new, you know, crop of families and students.
It's like about 3 weeks away or so.
I know. Tell me about it. We're busy. We're busy, but yeah, it's definitely it was a huge national, international story, and interest level, you know, outreach was significant, but ultimately it's still home for these students. We want to keep this environment that really matters to them.
But it's so good to all come together. Everybody. I mean, there was. Yeah, it's good for the community, and honestly, especially during a winter like we've had to have something hot to talk about.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
So, well, okay, now you got to make me a promise that you will not wait 14 months.
I sure will be back soon.
Okay,
thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you,
So
and
good to see
we've
you.
got more good Gonzaga news to talk about as we go into the fall, won't we?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Washington and Spokane voters are famously independent, voting for the person and not the party. Voters want to know the person behind the policy. Interested in learning more about your candidates? That's why we created Meet the Candidate. Join host Sulani Madsen as she interviews 2017 election candidates for local office on the experiences that have shaped their lives. Meet the Candidate is brought to you as a community service by the Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, North by Northwest Digital, We Believe, We Vote, and the McGarry Law Firm, the landlord's attorney. All Meet the Candidate conversations are posted on our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org. Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live. All right, so all of us are on Facebook these days, and every so often I get this Facebook posting from Eric Agnew. And by the way, you live at Liberty Lake, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have a father out there?
I do not. Is it Tom?
Yeah.
No, I get that all the time.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I knew Tom in the old days, and I just wondered, okay, he's old enough that he might be.
He was involved with the Liberty Lake Water and Sewer Commission, I believe. Yeah. And so being a resident out there, I often get asked, and I don't think I've ever actually met him in person, but there's like a handful of Agnews. There's not many of us. Okay. So it's either Lisa
we've heard
Simpson
about the
Agnew
Agnews. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Well, my point is that I've been watching, and you heard me say in the previous segment, I think one of the fun things to see on Facebook are family things going on. And you have a son that must be like 13 or 14 or something like that. And 12, you and he were singing or doing something at some kind of an event a month ago or so at a school dance or something like that. Yeah. Fortunately, I didn't have the sound on. I don't think it was video, but I love to see that because this. We need to promote good things in families and so forth, and all the other negative things and so forth. But what drew me to invite you for today is, are you crazy?
It depends on the context.
Yeah. You're running for 5th Congressional seat, the current seat of Kathy McMorris Rogers.
Absolutely.
As an independent. And that just intrigued me.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
What was involved?
Yeah.
Who talked you into it?
Sure.
The demons in the head or what?
Absolutely.
But, I just was curious. So what brought you to this point?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on.
You're most welcome.
That video was I MC the middle school dance in Green Acres Middle School.
Okay.
And my daughter was finishing her 8th grade year. My son was finishing his 6th grade year. And so I forget which song was going on, but you get them out there and you flip the camera around so you can see, and they all start doing their thing. It's just a blast. Your question, am I crazy? Well, I think part of the reason I got into this is because politics is crazy right now. And if you ask Einstein the definition of insanity, it's doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yes.
Yeah. So literally, I think I'm the opposite of insane.
Okay.
I'm running because I want a different result, because I feel frustrated that our system is so gridlocked that I have to wake up every morning and check news, check Twitter, Twitter and see what is wrong in the world today.
And it's mostly negative.
Yeah.
I don't care what side you're on. It's mostly negative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I woke up enough days in a row where things felt wrong enough, long enough that it was like I flipped my attitude from somebody should do something about it in that thing where one finger's going out and three are pointing back to what are you going to do about it, Eric? And I remember the day I was standing at my kitchen sink in Liberty Lake, washing dishes, looking out over the snow in the backyard, and just kind of going, I can't believe that this is the state of our system. This doesn't feel like...
There's got to be a better way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was asking myself, what are you going to do about it? And I came to the conclusion, I'm going to run for Congress. And then I had a couple months of reconciling what that really means. Do I think I could really make a difference? Would voters connect with this message?
Right.
And
what did the family say?
Well, yeah, those were the first conversations.
Did you have a sit down, or did you say, "Oh, by the way," in passing?
No. So I sat down. I have 3 kids, 14, 12, and 6.
Oh boy!
And we sit down at the dinner table one night, and I approached it this way. I said, I think I'm going to do something, and it might seem kind of wild. And I said, I'm going to shave my head. And they're like, what? No, you finally grew your hair out. Why would you do that? And I said, just kidding. I'm going to run for Congress. And they were like, well, that seems less crazy. And so, so I kind of did a little switch on them there. But then we had the conversation about, what does this mean that Daddy's going to go out there and talk to people and ask them what's important to them,
right?
And how do they want the system to work? And people might talk about me and say mean things in the news. You know what?
It's really hardest on the family or as a candidate to hear things about the family, I would guess.
Sure. Yeah, so it's still very new. We're only a couple weeks in. We had our campaign kickoff event last week, so to officially go, and we're filed with the FEC, and we're off and running. So it hasn't been bad at all yet. It's been actually lots of really great conversations with people. I was at the South Perry Street Fair, and my opening was, what is important to you?
Yeah.
And just having conversations with people and having them write down their answers. And those just led to great conversations.
Wow. Okay. So now you have this is going to be kind of a pun, but do you have a kitchen cabinet since you decided standing in the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you found some people who think you're the opposite of totally crazy and insane. Okay.
Sure.
Good.
The first thing obviously was talk to many good friends and people who I respect their opinion and people who have various political positions.
Okay.
And started a small group of advisors and a small team. And so we've got us to launch, and now we're expanding that into other areas.
All right. So one of the things that is really clear in these races is that it's going to take money. What kind of budget do you think you're going to have to put together to get through the primary next year? Much less.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you're up against unannounced Lisa Brown, who will have her core, obviously. Kathy will have her core, obviously. And you are the outsiders.
Yeah, they're absolutely the establishment, and they're absolutely going to be well funded. Kathy has raised 10-to-1 money over her last 4 candidates, and currently she's sitting on about $1 million raised this year. I mean, she is a fundraiser like no other. That I would say that's probably the thing that she does best. And so,
but that's not untrue of most elected officials.
That's true. She's definitely proven that you can buy an election. And so I bet we would see another fundraiser here in Spokane before we saw a town hall, actually. But to be honest...
That was a dig, wasn't it?
It was a little one.
Yeah.
But you know what? Tell me if it's untrue when it happens.
Okay.
So, yeah, absolutely. They will out-fundraise me, hands down.
And Lisa will, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how do you counter that? Because... I mean, I've been in politics for 50-some years or more, okay? One way or the other. Never as a candidate thought about it, got wiser. But it does take money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. And you're right. Both sides are going to have big amounts of funding. And it's said that most of it comes from PACs and lobbyists and special interests in business, and very few of it actually comes from individuals within the district. So what I'm going to do in all aspects of my campaign is go 180 degrees different from whatever they do, because
you're going to pay people.
Well, no. We're not going to go there. But what frustrates people about politics and about elections?
Money.
Yeah. And what people are craving and starving for is for someone to come and listen to them.
Yeah.
And I've got 468 days to knock on as many doors as I can, to go to as many events, to talk to as many people as I can. And if people want to give $20, $40, $50, it's going to go a huge way in our campaign.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to solicit the big dollar donations that they have. I'm going to go out and talk to people. And, that's where I'm going to start from.
Okay, there have been independent candidates in the past who have kind of said that, and they've never made it past the primary.
Yeah.
How will you overcome that?
Yeah, it's a huge hurdle.
Okay.
It's a huge hurdle. I think
and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be real here.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think one thing that's different, a couple things are different. I'm a different candidate than some of the previous independents, and I think we'll show that.
Okay.
I'm a big coalition builder.
Okay.
And right now, the environment is different in 2017 than it was in different.
Yes.
And we're going to see at the midterms a swing back towards the middle. In our district, it's going to be like all the other districts that have had special elections so far, where they needed to go 22 points and they made it 18.
Yeah.
They needed to go 20 points, they made it 17. So I think that our district in Eastern Washington is going to see that same sort of recoil.
Okay.
But it will never flip Democratic, not in any time soon.
Right.
As much as Spokane is a progressive city, we have 10 counties, and many of them are very rural and very conservative.
Right.
So I think that a message that starts from the middle and works out is the one thing that will flip the 5th district.
Okay. Wow, you got a lot of work ahead.
Yeah.
And you have a full-time job, too, don't you?
Yeah. Well, now I've got 2 full-time jobs.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to life.
Yeah, exactly.
With 3, because you got family, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, Eric, number one, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I wish you the best. We're going to have you back as we get closer to next year and start looking to next year's election. We've got to get through 2017 first. But I think you're right. I think it won't go Democrat. But I think there might be an opportunity for you to do better than independent candidates have in the past. I still think a lot of the Democrats are shooting themselves in the foot right now. Mm-hmm. They've left out that, even with what they did in Washington, D.C., and then, talk about the working man and woman and everything else, and then they've still got some of the crazies out there going crazy.
Yeah.
And they can't continue to have those 2 messages.
Yeah.
I think the message that Schumer and the others had the other day was the right message.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
And have strayed away from that in the last few years. And I don't know that they can recover between now and the election that you're talking about that might put you in a good position to be at least a viable candidate.
Yeah, it feels like both parties have gone so extreme that the middle is wide open, and that's really where the people are left.
Yeah.
The parties are the extreme items right now. Most of the people are standing squarely in the middle, and we're really not all that different.
Yeah. No, that's right. Hey, nice to meet you, number one.
Yes.
To see you in person instead of on Facebook. And we're going to take a quick break and be back right after this.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
To find the right home for you, you'll work with your realtor to compare the properties you're interested in, analyze the market, and figure out a reasonable offer price. And now, here you are, ready to make an offer. Yay, you! Here's how it works. First, you'll complete an offer sheet which your realtor will then present to the owner. Sometimes, a nice note to the owner can help your offer stand out. Butter them up. Tell them how much you love their garden, that it reminds you of gardening with your grandmother as a child. Do not mention you're gonna bulldoze it and put in a pool. The owner may accept the offer, reject it, or counter. It's important to be in close contact with your realtor during the negotiation process so any changes can be reviewed. Your realtor is like your consigliere, and that makes you the Don. Once your offer is finally accepted, there are usually some contingencies that must be met in order to keep the contract alive. Inspections are totally common in real estate transactions. They include termite checks, surveys to determine boundaries, appraisals to determine value for lenders, title reviews, and structural inspections. This stuff is mind-numbingly fascinating. But you know what's even more fascinating? Actually getting your new house.
Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live, and Shelley O'Quinn has left the county commissioner's spot, one of 3 spots, to become the executive director, president, chairman of the board, whatever the title is, at the Community Foundation here in Spokane. And now the position is open, and the job of the 2 remaining county commissioners is to pick a new county commissioner and install them. The process before that is the Spokane Republicans and their committee,
the PCOs,
will meet in a couple weeks, a week and a half.
August
5th, to select somebody. And there are about 4 candidates right now running.
I believe so.
And it's hard to keep track. And those 4 candidates will make a presentation that day, I presume. And then those PCOs will select 3 names to forward on to the county commissioners to pick one to replace Shelley.
Correct.
John Guarisco is one of those that is running for that position.
I am.
Unlike the traditional races in the community, which you would be doing if it was an open seat or a seat on a ballot, is that you have 2 steps here. Your primary is the PCOs, to be one of those 3, preferably the top of the list. And then the second is to be the top of the list from the 2 current county commissioners to be appointed.
Correct.
Right?
Correct, yes. Yeah, I know. There's nothing reasonable or rational about this process.
Well, politics.
It
politics,
is,
John.
So you could be number 1 in the PCOs, but yet maybe miss the mark with Alan Josh. So, the thing that I started doing was I'm running it like a traditional campaign.
Right.
I've already filed with the PDC. I will run in 2018. I'll have my primary in August.
Okay.
So no matter who.
So appointed or not.
Okay.
You see this as long-term.
Absolutely. Yeah. And once again, appointed or not, we all have to run if we're going to run.
Yes.
I believe I'm the only one at this point that has filed with the PDC to do that.
Right.
There is, like you said, 4 others and it's a nomination process as well. So you will go there; they'll nominate you.
Okay.
That person
can. A couple of the PCOs will nominate you?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you'll get a nomination and a second.
Okay.
Those two can say words about you. Those are
Okay.
the only two that can do that.
Ah, okay.
And the process that I understood used to be that they would be able to grill you with questions,
Yeah.
but for some reason it's only going to give us 3 to 5 minutes to talk.
Oh.
So my strategy
That doesn't sound like a lot for a very important position.
No, it doesn't, and actually, I'm not real pleased with that. But anyhow, that
But
creates
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So it creates me to just continue to reach out to the PCOs.
Yes.
And I tell them, hey, I'm going to get 3 to 5 minutes on the 5th.
Yeah.
Not enough time to get to know a guy.
Yeah.
So I'm calling you so you can grill me with questions right now, know where I stand, and that's been my strategy for day one.
Right. And you have some good people supporting you, too. Who are some of those?
I do. The good sheriff, Ozzie Knezovich, is supporting me because actually 70+% of that county budget is for public safety.
Yeah.
Yet since 1993, our jail has been at capacity.
Right.
So yes, to beat up the current and old county commissioners,
Right.
why did you kick the can down the road for over 20 years?
Right.
So if anybody wants to know why is John fired up about this,
That's the number one issue.
It is.
Public safety.
It's the bureaucracy that continues to frustrate everybody, I think, who's getting into this position that we're done. We're done. Time out.
Right.
Okay, this is our tax dollars at stake.
Yeah.
You are all paying for this. You're going to pay for consistently overtime on the sheriff's department
Right.
when Ozzie is down. Since then, 109 officers. He would like to just get back to 2006, and I told him, I said, how about we just get you back to today?
Yeah.
Because in a sense, right now, when you have property crimes, people are calling, and unfortunately, if it's not an emergency, they can't come. They don't have the
Right.
manpower. They've been at their tipping point. And if they do come, I have some friends who also are probation officers, they can come into their office for their check, actually have their urine test,
Yeah.
and have a ton of meth in it, and they can't take them to jail.
Oh, gee.
No room at the inn, folks.
So there's no real consequence.
No
Yeah.
real consequence to be a bad guy.
And of course, there's been this downplay of property crimes, and we've seen what that's done with stealing cars and so forth. Now it's carjacking.
Yeah.
I mean, it just continues to go up and up and
Yeah.
up. We have about a minute left.
Okay.
And so here's your chance in 1 minute.
Okay.
If I'm a PCO, why should I nominate and or vote for you, John?
Absolutely. First and foremost, it's going to be all about public safety, and we're going to have to fix this. We have had a budget that hasn't been balanced very well at our county, and so we really need to have a prudent budget that this tax money actually goes to where the people voted for, not just into the general fund so us as commissioners can spend it.
Right.
Because there's no prioritization if it goes in the general fund.
Right.
So the 50 departments at the county are all going to fight for this money. So I'm not a politician. I have not been in politics.
You're a business owner.
I'm a business owner, and your business fails when the budget isn't balanced.
Right.
So we do that the prudent way. And then the water issue. I do have property up north.
Yeah.
So they have a dog in the fight on this one. If anybody wants to know, possibly the main reason I'm here is to get that fixed. When the government comes and grabs your land, I call it land confiscation.
Yes.
We need to sue the government for damages. You have hurt my property for no apparent
And
reason.
then we as taxpayers pay for that because of overturned court cases and poor laws.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. I mean, I've got 3 good reasons why you should make me number one to get in there. Other folks that we're running against have been in this system, and I don't think they're bad folks. I love the
Right.
fact that they're serving the community.
Right.
I just think they're going to serve it as a normal politician would, and to me, no more.
All right.
We need to get in there.
Again, John Guarisco. Where can they get more information?
JohnForSpokane.com.
Okay.
Or you can call my cell phone and you can light it up, and it's the easiest one to remember, 220-2000.
Oh, wow.
How's
How
that
did
for a
you
cool
get that?
number?
You paid someone
I
under
did.
the table.
I did,
Okay.
so.
John, best of luck to you. All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We're going
Ken.
to take a quick break. We'll be back with Pia Hallenberg right after this. Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live, and this week with Pia Hallenberg.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
How was the walk over today? Was it safe?
It was fine, thank you.
How much of the paving have they done? Half, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
We're good.
We're good. Mm-hmm. We were talking just before we went on here about are you surviving, and you said something to the effect that you'll be happy when the primary is over, and maybe we can move on a little bit.
I'm looking forward to primary night. I don't often say that, but I have a couple of really hotly contested races at Spokane Valley.
Yeah.
And what is interesting, of course, is that some of the candidates are absolutely, they're political virgins. They have no idea. They're running, from the goodness of their hearts or whatever, which is admirable in so many ways.
But they've walked under the floor with tax on it.
Oh my goodness, we had well, let's back up a little bit. So there was an issue on Monday morning that Caleb Collier's, some of his signs were painted over with really very explicit graffiti.
Okay.
I'm going to skip the details. The photos we had, we couldn't run in the paper, so that should tell you something.
Okay.
And I realized before everybody starts screaming, which they did all day yesterday, by the way.
Yes.
There should be a no whining pledge if you run for office. I would like to put that out there, but I don't know who would enforce that.
No,
so,
nobody.
Anyway, he lost a bunch of signs. He lost 5 signs. Realized Monday morning they'd been painted over with this awful thing.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of social media conversation about who could possibly have done it and why would they do something like that. And his opponent, Brandy Peets, felt like she was being picked on and that she was being accused of painting over the signs.
Yeah.
So this is where the reporter comes into the picture.
Yes.
If you get your news from other places than Facebook. I actually called the candidates, okay?
Okay.
So I called Caleb. I talked to him. I talked to his wife. They were shocked, which I can understand, and appalled. I can understand that too. I also called Brandy Peets and I said, did you paint over the signs? And she said, no, I did not. And so that is what I based my reporting on, not on what whoever wrote on Facebook.
Yes.
I will not go there. So there was some upset yesterday because I didn't get into the Facebook conversation. And it's like, man, I would need 4 assistants to do that. I just will not. I tried to just
stick. And a big bottle of bourbon.
Oh, you have no idea. I think we have to upgrade it to Scotch. Bourbon would not cure that. Anyway. Nobody knows who destroyed the signs, and most candidates lose signs. They're stolen, they're run over. People take them and use them for when they have a yard sale.
There are high school kids out there.
I don't believe in the high school kid thing. I just don't. No, I just don't. It's sometimes it's kids, but mostly it's somebody who's a grown up and can vote and does not agree with the candidate.
Okay.
So I think what made this news was that the graffiti was really awful.
Yeah. No.
It was.
It was. I'm
vile.
sorry. There's just no excuse
vile.
for that.
I mean, steal the sign for God's sakes, but don't paint. No, you. Anyway, but on Tuesday it's election night.
Yes.
And hopefully, we'll get through the election, and we'll be down
sure?
to 2 candidates in each race. Yes, I'm sure. Yes.
I'll ask you for predictions. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I can't go there.
No, I know. I just was kidding you.
I will write my predictions on a piece of paper, and you can keep it in the booth in here.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that.
I will do that.
That will be fun, and I'll pull it out.
And you can pull it out next week, and you can be like,
that will be fun
look
to
at
do.
You, biased media person. I think I have a pretty good feel for this.
But it's always easy to blame the media for problems that often are your own.
Well, I had one candidate who also yesterday was upset about my reporting and how I don't tell the truth and whatever. And it's like, actually, in this case, this was Rob Sampson. He was very upset, allegedly, with the story I wrote. And he said, well, you're just making stuff up and you're not telling the truth. Well, the truth about him was based on court documents.
Okay.
So there really is no interpretation there.
Go back and change the court documents.
Either you are charged or you're not charged.
Right.
Either you serve time in jail or you don't serve time in jail.
Right.
That's not anything that I decide.
Yeah.
So perhaps one should consider one's background before one runs for office.
Well, it certainly ought to be one of the things that you consider as you look through any candidate and to have that information, don't you think?
Well,
I mean,
and we And the newspaper, the Spokesman Review, we don't just pick on one candidate.
Yeah.
We treat everybody exactly the same way. And so we run as much of a background check as we can.
Right.
Because wouldn't I feel bad if we elected a new mayor and it turns out she has 4 felonies? Because
are you making a prediction that we're going to have a female mayor in Spokane?
I just like to change the gender once in a while, to see if you pay attention.
I am paying attention.
Good. That's good. No, I'm not going
Surprised
there.
you, didn't it?
I'm not going there.
No.
So I just, that's part of my job. And, some people they always have a chance to tell their story first.
Yeah.
I say, is there anything I should know about you that you haven't told me? 7 bankruptcies or whatever, just please tell me right now so we can just deal with it.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
We got about 2 minutes left. Let me ask you about what else is going on with the Valley City Council out there.
Well, actually, last night, the city council meeting last night, they had a conversation about the library bond, which you probably remember.
Right.
The library district tried to pass a bond twice to build a new library. The bond failed. It got the majority of votes.
Right, but not the 60% required.
Almost 58%.
Oh, wow.
But not the supermajority, the 60% required.
Right.
So you can't really say that the majority of people in the Valley don't want a library because they do. However, it was not enough to pass it.
Right.
So the library was like, okay, we're done. It's expensive to run campaigns. We have to move ahead and develop what we have. But the city of the Valley has continued to push them to, try again. And it looks like, the city is ready to commit some money, $1.3 million to be exact, to a joint project with the library district.
Wow.
The library district is curious but cautious.
Yeah. They've been hurt twice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And it's been, and some of the council members, among them, most notably Ed Pace, was very much opposed to the last bond. I wouldn't say that he campaigned against it, but he had a letter to the editor, and he told everybody that he thought it was a bad idea. Well, he's changed his mind now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now it's a good idea now. So, which is fine. We can change our mind. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's going to be a while before we have something concrete. The city proposed that if the district goes in for $1.3 million, then everybody's in. They'll extend the deadline for the land purchase to go back. Excuse me, by another 5 years.
Right.
And actually, if they can't pull it off within that 5 years, they'll extend it for another 2 years.
Okay.
So it sounds like they're really trying to do something. It would be across the street from the new city hall.
Right.
And it would be right next to Balfour Park.
Right. Okay.
Which is a park but has not been developed. There's a big master plan for things that could happen. So,
excellent.
It's now we're waiting for the library district.
It's down but not out.
No, we're waiting for the library district to, come back. And last night somebody said, well, maybe we should find a different way of funding it, so we can get around the supermajority, vote. A different way could be a public facilities district.
Okay.
Of course, that brings with it a tax.
Yeah.
But so does a bond because it's a property tax.
Right.
So, nothing's free.
No, that's
I mean, I'm sorry to break the terrible news to you.
Except the library card.
No. Yeah, well, that's free for now. But, so it's that was interesting. Okay. And they also, the Valley City Council also approved a new contract with the Sheriff's Department.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Now, how long will that be? 3 years, 5 years?
Oh, man. So it is a 5-year contract, and after 3 years,
they start negotiating for the
they'll take it up to revision, and there are some changes. It's this is one of those stories where you really have to go and read the contract if you're very interested in this. But some of the goals, the contract establishes goals for the Spokane Valley Police Department, and some of them are they're going to try and see if they can find a uniform that would be specific for Valley deputies.
Right.
Car. New vehicles will be painted in that light ice blue color.
Okay.
The vehicles as they are right now will stay as they are right now, as far as I understand. And also, the sheriff was always committed to keeping the same deputies in the Valley, but that is now in the contract. Right. And I spoke with the police chief the other day about something else, and he said, well, we try to keep the same deputies out here the best we can, because it just makes for better policing.
Absolutely.
They know the community, they know the people.
Yeah.
So this notion that, the sheriff just kind of sends a handful of people out there once in a while, that doesn't hold water.
Right.
I mean, they're trying very, very hard to keep the same people out there.
Good.
So,
well, Pia, thank you.
Thank you.
And only a few more days, and we can get past. And your job.
I'm gonna go write things down.
Yeah, your job before you leave is to write it down, and Steve will put it in a safe location.
Okay, we'll do that, and then we can pull it out next week and see how wrong I was.
Great. All right. Thanks. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We're going to take a visit to Europe right after this. Welcome back to Spokane Talks Live, and with our theme of keeping youth around here is, exactly. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. This is what happens when you get somebody from the theater, right? Yeah, right. Okay, Gunnar Rorholm.
That's it. The second one.
The second
yes.
home. Okay. I don't know why I can't get...
Third time's the charm.
Third time. Yeah, because I screwed it up earlier, right? I'm allowed to say screw it up. Yes, I am. Anyway... we're not going to talk too much about your show that you're going to start this September on Spokane Talks Online, because you just took a trip. You took a trip with your mom, and your mom and your brother did this, 3 or 4 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, okay. What's 2 years, 3 years? You could have just said yes and, kind of gone with the flow and not pointed out that I was wrong, but that's okay. No, I'm kidding. Tell me about, first of all, why would you take a trip to Europe?
Mainly to see different cultures and see art. And I took AP European History in class just this last year.
Okay, so some of it was going to make some sense.
Seeing it again.
Yeah. Instead of in a picture.
Yeah. I watched a documentary on the Duomo, and then I saw the Duomo in Florence.
Okay. So I got to ask about the flight over. How long was it? Or how many days? Yeah.
Well, the flight to Minneapolis was rather short for 2 hours.
Oh, gee.
And then from Minneapolis to Paris was about 9 hours.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much of that did you sleep?
Probably 2.
Oh, really?
I honestly don't know. I remember just watching a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Mostly. Yeah. To keep myself entertained.
Yeah. Now, were you able to take your own iPad or whatever, or were you watching it on the...
I was watching it on the plane screen.
On the plane? Okay. All right. So you guys get there, and let's show our audience some of the pictures and the video that you took. Hopefully we've cleaned it up a bit. No, I'm kidding.
It's all censored.
All censored, yeah. Is Steve in there? Well, no, Steve is not in there. Okay, so we can't show this right now. We'll wait till he gets back. Sometimes he goes out to feed
We're going rogue.
Yeah, we are. We're totally out of control here. Let me ask you, did you and your mom went, but was it with a group or anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
We had a whole group from LC of 18 people, including the parents and the teachers and all the kids. And then in Barcelona.
So you knew most of the
I knew, well,
some
I knew one a little bit, and then I met everybody as
I'm guessing they all knew you, though.
Not really, but they learned about me.
Oh, gosh.
And
Okay.
some of them didn't like all the talking, but I feel like I entertained enough.
Yes,
So
yes. Okay, well, yeah, and your nickname is the reincarnation of
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley, yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, now that Steve is back at his desk, let's show some of the video. Now, where is that?
That is in Europe. That's in the Vatican.
Okay,
This is
and I see you brought along a fan to sit with you? Okay.
Well, I actually got that in Barcelona because I really wanted a paper fan.
Okay.
And eventually,
Yeah.
we got one.
Well, you got to have your own fan, you know? Yeah. Okay.
It was my biggest fan, honestly.
Your biggest fan club?
That
Okay.
that was a good moment. That was me laying down in the Coliseum because I got really tired.
Okay, so that is on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not up against a wall or something like that. Now, where are you there?
That is at the top of the Spanish Steps.
Okay.
In Rome.
Okay.
Because the story that went with that, it's actually kind of interesting, because Spain and France were fighting.
Yes.
And to come to an agreement, Spain built stairs up a hill, and then France built a church. That's that's as much as I remember. But there's probably
there
more
will be a
details
test on it in September, right? Back at school. Okay, so now, what are you doing there?
This is the second cooking class that we took.
Okay.
This was in Barcelona, and the first one was in Madrid.
Were you brave enough to eat your own food that you cooked?
I mean, it was good. I ate everybody else's.
Okay.
I didn't.
Well, that's only fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if mine were perfect.
That's the best. That's the best shot of you. Is from behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't show your face.
Seeing what's it called? That big statue.
I'm guessing that's the Coliseum.
How'd you guess?
Just kind of wild guess. Yeah. And that was your mom too.
Yes.
Now where is that?
That is a building built by Guarisco, who was an architect in Spain, and that's in Barcelona. And it's this big house with curves, and it's very pretty, and it has a beautiful view of the city on the road.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, who's that?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, there you are again.
There I am again.
You spend a lot of time on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking pictures or talking with people?
I'm going to say taking pictures.
Right, but that would be a lie, but we know.
Yes.
Okay, so where are you there? It's
that is
out in the desert or something.
Oh, that was such a pretty view. There was a huge hill with just houses built all around it.
Oh, okay.
In France, and it's just we climbed all the way to the top.
Oh, fun.
And it's all over the Mediterranean. It was good. That's Pisa.
Yeah. Yeah, I see you're holding it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the first.
Very strong, I know.
You're the first to ever do that picture. You know that, aren't you? That was so creative.
Thing is, I saw a ton of people doing it after me, and I just felt so good because I made a trend.
Absolutely. Oh, Lord.
So
there you are, cooking up a storm.
Well, that's making child-friendly sangria.
Oh, okay, child-friendly.
I wanted the alcoholic
real
version,
stuff.
but
yeah. I can only imagine the videos that would have followed that.
Oh, that would be a lot.
How fun. So did you meet new friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. You went swimming is that the Mediterranean?
Yeah, that was the day that I brought swimsuit.
Oh, okay.
That was the swimsuit.
But there was
a
day you didn't bring a swimsuit.
There was a day where I didn't bring a swimsuit, and then a lot of people just got in, and then I just peer pressure.
Yeah.
And I just went in, and it was not a fun time.
Yeah. I was worried that you might say you went skinny dipping or something like that and scared all of the folks in the Mediterranean. But, yeah, you saved them of that.
I'm a better person
than
that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you just don't have pictures, I know. Yeah. Okay. So basically, Gunnar, you had a good time.
Yes, a very good time.
So now what's on the schedule for you? You have school starting in, another month?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's the 26th, and school starts like the 30th or something of August, doesn't it? 31st?
Is it really? Oh, God. I still have to do my summer reading.
Yeah. You and your brother are doing something together. Is it next week, or when is it?
It is at a certain point.
Yes.
The details are, if you look up Spokane Valley Summer Theater, you can find out about the details. But there is a one-night-only event called Broadway in Concert.
Right.
Where a ton of people are giving, singing songs, a solo.
Right.
Me and my brother are doing a duet. We Can Do It from the Producers.
Okay.
Which I sang with my friend Matthew in closing night at LC.
LC, yes. Yeah. Yes. So we've had kind of a half of a preview. Yeah. Now we get the other half because your brother heads off in a few weeks to Marquette, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And we've talked about the fact you're not going to take over his room because you get to be in another part of the house. So you're going to stay where you are, right?
I like being on the same floor as the kitchen.
Yeah.
Gets good food.
Yeah, well, teenager. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's a given. Hey, Gunnar, thanks a lot. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to this fall and your new program. And we're going to say goodbye for this week. We'll see you in August 2nd, next week, on Spokane Talks Live.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Online, LLC, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic, or to see this program again, please visit our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Join us next Wednesday, noon, for another nourishing conversation on Spokane Talks Live.